Speaking on stages all over the world was literally a dream of mine. 20 years ago, I wrote in a journal that someday I'd love to speak on stage with Tony Robbins and Richard Branson and help impact lives the way they do. But as I sit here and think about it, I'll never take it for granted again. It was one of my goals and my dreams that I get the chance to be on stage with 1,000 to 18,000 people.
Graziosi, take one.
I just had a debate with a buddy of mine, the debate that the whole world has, even if it's internally, and that's the debate between tactics or mindset. Think about that, right? Everybody's like, so I'm literally debating with a guy, he's a great real estate investor, and he teaches other people how to do it. And I said, he's like, it's tactics. He goes, if someone doesn't know how to find a deal in today's world, they're never gonna do it. And he went on and said, they don't know how to market, they don't know how to do this, they don't know how to do that. I said, totally agree with that. But what if they get the best tactics in the world? What if you give someone a business on how to sell $20 bills for 10 bucks? Right? Okay. You give them that, you give them the tactics on it, you don't need much on that. But then they go home and their husband's like, oh, that doesn't work, hon, we can't do that here. Or do you see our president's no good, or our economy's going in a different direction, or we should be happy with what we have. All the things that, the little things that derail us, that I don't care what the tactics are, if you approach it at 80%, you approach it at 70%, you're gonna dabble, and then when we dabble and we don't get results, those tactics don't mean nothing, we fall back into our old habits. So the magical combo, and why these events and what you put together, Gene, is so incredible, is because you have people sharing the tactics. How to make money in real estate, how to make money in different areas, how to make money being in the knowledge industry that Tony Robbins and I are working on. Like, you share the tactics, but then you get myself and Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone and Gary Vee and all these incredible people that are coming here saying, man, without this straight, this never works. And that's the magical combo. And I know you realize it, but that's what I love to see on the outside. It's like, my mindset's straight, give me a tactic. Mindset straight, give me a tactic. Right now, if you ask anyone under 30 years old what they want to do for a living, do you know what the number one top thing is?
YouTuber?
Yes, being a YouTuber, good call. I love the fact that people want to make impact. I love when people are sharing. I love this whole branding thing, like brand my identity. Am I the guy with the big watch and the Lambo, or am I the guy with the heart and my chakras are aligned? Like, what am I? So the thing I would say about branding and about possibly an influencer or being a YouTuber or doing that kind of thing is lean into your soul, like what you truly are. Because I see a lot of people coming in because they want likes and money, right, and it just doesn't last. When I realized I was put on this earth to help other people, your question is answered in a way I know is a different answer than you're probably expecting, but when I realized that's why I'm on this earth, my brand started to grow on its own. When I started speaking from my heart, when I truly wanted to help people, not just impress them. There's a difference between helping and impressing. Right. When I wanted to help them, my brand took on a life of its own. And people started realizing what I stand for. And the people that don't like what I stand for, that's okay. They go follow someone else. Maybe they follow Tony or Gary Vee or somebody else, right? Mm-hmm. So that changed everything when I just spoke from the heart, rather than trying to build this brand or this persona. Like, I believe the people who don't last are the ones that are one person on the screen or on Instagram or YouTube, and there's somebody else in real life. You align those two and everything changes. And I'll just share, I know I've been in this business for a long time. I have an unfair advantage to a lot of people watching. But I started with one like. I started with one course. I started with one, like, I was in that position, and it all starts with one. And I have to tell you, I ignored social media up until about a year and a half ago, because I've had infomercials forever, and I wrote books, and I'm lucky that my books are New York Times bestsellers. So I kind of ignored social media, and then I didn't. And I just started going on social media and being me, and being transparent, and speaking from my heart, and trying to serve other people, trying to impact other people. And we just blew past 720,000 followers on Instagram. Wow. Because I'm just, so everybody's like, how'd you build your brand? I'm like, probably in my 20s or 30s, I would have tried to calculate building the brand. Now I just had faith that people will feel my heart, and it's working.
We've got 4,000, 5,000 people in the room right now. What compels you to come do this?
I have to say, there was lots of different reasons. If I looked in my 20s why I worked so hard, I was running away from a life I didn't want. And that's okay if that's where you are while you're watching this. If you're desperate to get away from your life you don't want, feel it. Like grind the pain in so it pushes you to move. Probably in my 30s, it was building a business, building a legacy, getting security for me, helping other people, building a team. 40s, maybe the same. But right now, I would say for the last 5 years of my life more than ever, I truly believe that I was put on this earth to impact people's lives. Because I remember what it was like to be out in an audience, to wonder where my future was. And it wasn't just when I was broke that I was like, where the hell am I gonna, what am I gonna do? Who's gonna help me? I got to a couple $100,000 a year, and I remember feeling lost in my little town. I remember feeling alone in my little town. I didn't wanna be the big fish in a little pond. I knew I wanted to do more, and I didn't know where to go, and everybody else thought I should be happy, and internally I was sad, because I felt like a horse at the beginning of a horse race, but my gate wasn't opening. Right? So I know that feeling. So at this phase of my life, I'm 50 this year, and I just know how many people are sitting in that audience and just need one spark. They need just a spark to go, I can do this. And if I can provide that, I'll fly to Atlanta, I'll fly wherever you do the events. We're doing them in other parts of the world. You know, I'm writing my 7th book right now. Tony and I mean, you look at somebody like Tony Robbins, he's been doing it for 40 something years. He's impacted more lives than any of us. And you can't stop that guy, and because he's impact driven. He wants to change lives. He doesn't need any more money. I'm blessed to be in a position where I don't need any more money. It's about impact, and we all need that thing. Like at a time I was running away from a painful past. Then I was building a company. Now I'm running towards to be a guy that by the time I leave this earth, my family can say, wow, my dad, my grandfather, he left impact that's gonna last forever. So that's why I'm here.
What's your take on live immersive experiences like we give at Success Resources versus just the video?
So what's your favorite band?
AC/DC.
AC/DC. Wow, same era.
All right, yeah.
AC/DC. So if I said, hey man, Gene, I can get you front row tickets to AC/DC, and you're gonna be around other AC/DC fans who know the songs, you're gonna be right up front. Or, I mean, I could just get you the DVDs. Which one would you want?
Live experience.
Yeah, so that's kind of a simple analogy, but the behind that is a lot of times, even though the knowledge is the same, I create at home courses and I love them. The knowledge is the same, but the experience is different. Because a lot of times we're at home watching something and we have the family in the other room. You could have a spouse that thinks you're crazy that you're even watching that. You're answering your phone and you feel alone. A lot of times entrepreneurs or people who just want another level of life, we feel alone. Because the rest of our family's like, hey Gene, stop going for so much. You're good. You're good. Like a lot of people tell us to be satisfied. That's how the world talks to us. But when you come to a live event, you just saw the audience out there. There's 5,000 people out of their mind. So you look around and you don't feel crazy anymore. You go to lunch with someone who goes, hey, you could do this. Let's rock this. The person behind you taps you on the shoulder. Is like, let's do this, right? So all of a sudden, you're getting the mindset from people doing it. You're getting the tactics from people who are doing it. You're gaining new capabilities from people who are doing it. And you're surrounded by people that don't make you feel crazy anymore. In fact, you feel like the normal one. So live events and workshops and masterminds have transformed my life. It's been my one unfair advantage above all else. Hands down, nothing compares.
Dean, we hear a lot about the importance of having a mentor in life.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I'll just give you an example in my own life. My children at this moment are 10 and 12. And the truth is, I hope neither one of them wants to go to college. Some people are watching that and just cringed. But college doesn't deliver, and college doesn't teach specialized knowledge. Napoleon Hill identified that in 1937 when he said, general knowledge, no matter wide and deep, will never take someone to another level. You need specialized knowledge. So with that said, I'm not discrediting any of it because my daughter wants to play college softball and my son wants to be a doctor. So they're both going to college, and that's cool, and I'll support that. And people, if you went to college, I'm not dogging it. You put your time, effort, and energy in. Just because I didn't go doesn't mean other people shouldn't. But I want to shock people to realize that we can go a lot faster with a mentor. And why I talked about my children is what I said to them. If you want to go to college, great. But if not, what I'd love you to do is take a year and figure out what you think you want to do for the rest of your life. We're asking kids at 17 to figure out what they're going to do for the rest of your life. You know, only about 12% of people who get a degree find a job in that degree that they like. It's crazy, that statistic. But what I told them is, find an area you like. So I would use the example of my daughter. She loves design. I said, if you love design, you want to be an interior designer, what we're going to do is we're going to research and find some of the top interior designers in the whole country. And then you're going to write an amazing letter, and you're going to go work for that person for free for an entire year and let them mentor you, and you're going to be their best employee. They're going to want to pay you in a month, but you don't. You just take the knowledge, and at the end of that year, you'll be able to start off where they left off. If that person has 30 years of experience, they failed miserably, you can avoid that. They've succeeded incredibly, you can gain that. You can know the philosophy, the mindset. So you can either spend 30 years figuring out or get a mentor, and it just, what Tony Robbins always says, condense decades into days. So having a mentor is like, it's the unfair advantage to the people who have it and a massive disadvantage for people who don't understand the value of it. It doesn't matter who's watching or where you are. We all have struggles. We all feel like we've been an underdog at a moment. Like being an underdog meaning maybe your parents didn't support you. Maybe you didn't come from the right country or the right state or the right town. You didn't come from money. You didn't get the right degree. You had a father that never told you he loved you. You were abused. Like I've had a lot of things of those things happen to me, which we all have. And I think instead of just talking about the struggles, let's talk about how we get through those. And again, I'm going to refer back to Tony because we spend so much time together, but I've been thinking through these lenses for a long time, but Tony puts great, elegant words to it.
Right.
And when I think of my past at this phase of my life, and I wish someone gifted this to me in my 20s, is life happens for us, not to us. And what I believe is, what if you're watching this right now and you're going through struggles, you're going through a hard time, you went through a hard time that you shouldn't have, what if instead of thinking of it, I can't believe that happened to me, what if you thought, wow, this was designed for me? And I look at it now as I had to pay my success tax. Yeah, we moved a lot when I was young. We didn't have money. I had dyslexia. I didn't go to college. I didn't have money. Struggles with my dad and all this stuff. But when I look back, all of them, like, and I don't mean to digress here, but did you ever see the movie Slumdog Millionaire?
Absolutely.
Okay, he wins at the end. They don't know how he knows all these answers because it was his life experiences that allowed him to answer those questions now. What if God, the universe, whatever you believe in, created this path for you so you can have all the ammunition you need that when it's time to gain the tactics and the mindset, you're set. Like Slumdog Millionaire, you have the answers. When I look, my dad had a really tough time when I was a kid. He was the youngest of 12. He was sexually abused, physically abused, and he made some bad decisions being a parent. And I had to make sure my dad didn't go down one path. My dad could be the greatest dad in the world, and my dad could be crazy, like scary crazy, like 10 years old with a bleeding ulcer, throwing up blood when I was 10 because I was so scared of him and loved him all at the same time. But now I realize that was given to me as my gift because I learned how to read my dad's emotions before he'd walk in a room. And if I saw he was going down a bad path, I learned how to, through love, through empathy, through compassion, through being authentic, I could steer him down the good path. And now, because of that, I could sit on your stage with 5,000 people and I feel them. Like when I'm on stage, it's not recorded. It's not, you see, I don't use PowerPoint. I don't use slides. I feel their emotions and I know what they need. But that was a gift from my dad. And that was part of my success. That was part of what happened for me. So instead of us looking like, I can't believe, why? It's like, imagine if you just shifted today, like right this minute and go, what if that was my design? What if it was meant for me so I could be at this moment watching this video, ready for another level, and all of that is going to be the ammo to fuel your full potential. We are in Atlanta, Georgia. I love this city. Just got off stage at the National Achievers Conference. What an amazing audience. I think there was 5,000-6,000 people there playing full out. And now, being off stage, this is my time to decompress. Now, we're at an antique store that I cannot get my wife out of. And I can say wife now because I'm married when you see this, which is awesome. My mom's over here too. My mom came down. Say hi, Mom. And I'm just sitting here talking on camera because in this episode, I want to tackle a debate that I've experienced and witnessed for so long. And that is the debate between what you need to be successful, to go to another level, to make more money, to have more abundance, joy, whatever it is that you desire. And is that needing more tactics? That's the step-by-step, the plan, the strategies. Or is it the mindset so you can overcome all the stuff in your life, have the hunger, have the desire, overcome the obstacles, and actually use the tactics? I just got in a debate with someone 2 days ago that's really successful, and he's like, it's all tactics. Some people think it's all mindset. In this episode, I'm going to tackle that debate and let you see where I stand. I'm starving. Are you guys hungry? So if I asked you, and you hang out with me too much, we're together every single day of our lives, and my wife, but the debate between, for someone to be successful, the biggest thing I hear with people is that they're kind of almost leaning heavily to one side or the other, and I think it does a disservice to them. It's either the tactics or the mindset. So if you get certain people, like if there's even people online, like influencers that are really successful, and they're always like, oh, the hell with the mindset stuff. You just need to know how to make the money, right? And they kind of make fun. They kind of, it sounds silly, like kind of poo-poo on personal growth.
Right.
Like, the hell with that foo-foo stuff. You just need to know what to do and execute. But how does someone execute if they don't have the right mindset? If an obstacle hits them and they get scared, or their friend tells them they shouldn't do it, then they never start it, right? So I think what I see is sometimes people lean too heavy in one direction. They get the mindset and they're motivated, they're excited, but then they don't have the tactics.
They're not sure of themselves to begin with. So it's easy for them to be swayed if that one person, and then they can say, oh, great, I guess I need to try it.
Yeah, exactly. And well, that's easy. And I think it's your subconscious also, like, to protect you. It's like, oh, it's not the right time, or wait, your family said it wasn't working. So anyway, this is just a soft version of this debate. But what do you think in your 20s if someone said, I want to make you a millionaire by your 30? In your 20s, if someone said, I can give you the step-by-step process to do it, or, not both, or I'm going to work on your habits and your personal growth. In your 20s, which one would you have chosen?
I would have chosen step-by-step.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Everyone would.
Yes. But then as you get older and you know that there are obstacles and challenges and ups and downs in your life, you tend to lose your motivation and lose your drive, and you tend to settle with like, okay, you know what, I'm not that bad right now.
You become lazy.
You become lazy. You tend to, just be okay with your life, and you don't have ambitions to go any further. But you need the mindset.
Well, think about you sit with your friends, right? Only because I've heard you with your friends, right? Amazing friends, all of them, whatever group you're in, they all want to go to another level. But when you think about it, think if one of your girlfriends comes to you, Jetsy or somebody comes to you and they say, oh, my jewelry line, I want it to go to another level, right? They never talk about them. Think about what Jetsy says. Like, I think I got to get in more stores. I need to have somebody help me do it. But if you think about with Jetsy, for example, she's gaining the tactics, trying to learn the tactics, but the part she's missing, in my opinion, is the mindset, because she doesn't have the fortitude. This is the word that I think. Most people think that you need resources to be successful. Like Jetsy, I'm going to use her example, right? Jetsy thinks she's always like, who can you connect me with?
Right.
Connection. Is there anybody that can lend me money to expand my business? Can you get me into another boutique, right? All of those are resources. But this is the part that I will debate at 50 and looking back on my life is, I think in our 20s and 30s, maybe in your 40s or whatever age you are, we think if I just had the resources, the tactics, right? Or the resources and tactics could be the same, but also it's like you're looking for these things for the outside world to help you, when I believe 1,000% what you need is to be resourceful.
Yes.
Right? Jetsy doesn't need any connections from us or anyone. She doesn't need another boutique. She doesn't need a cash investment.
Yes.
She doesn't need to buy her jewelry cheaper. She doesn't need to have different designs. Her jewelry's cool. What she needs to be is resourceful.
What equals results? Consistency.
Yeah,
And
hunger.
If you're not consistent, you have more patience. It's just naturally. You have more patience and more, nothing. You're unstoppable when you're in your 20s, when you're a teenager, when you're dreaming. Then you get to you're older, you're married, you have kids, reality hits you, like, if this is not hitting this fast, it's not going to hit ever. But you have to be consistent, and to be consistent,
You have to be hungry.
you have to be hungry, but you have to have like that mindset to keep going.
Right.
Otherwise, you can easily say, my life is good.
And it's cumulative. So if you call a mom and you say, Mom, what do you think? It's like, oh, baby, be safe. You don't stop immediately, but it questions. Then I talk to Lisa and she's like, oh, babe, maybe it's the wrong president. And then you look at the news and those three little things combined, you go, oh, maybe it's not a good time. So that's why my debate in my 20s, I would have said 90% tactics, 10% mindset. Now being in business for 30 years, I've failed miserably. I've made good money. I know for a fact it's 90% mindset, because when you have the right mindset, you become resourceful. Being excited or motivation doesn't carry you through, because you'd be excited, but then you fail. You can be motivated. You can come to a Tony event, my event, and be excited, but if you go home and you don't carry that mindset, then the tactics mean nothing. Because the three things I was going to say is, The right mindset to me creates resourcefulness. It creates an inner desire because you know what you truly want. It allows you to realize that most of the world is full of shit and they're wrong. That if you listen to other people, you get their results. Like you build this barrier with mindset. So then when you do find the right tactics, like something I create or Tony creates or somebody else creates or you have a great mentor, when the mindset's anchored, that's why I wrote Millionaire Success Habits. Then you can plug in anything. You want to lose weight, plug it into that same process. You want to fix your relationship, you plug it into the same process.
Your journal, you touched on such a good when you said you've been doing a journal. I can remember you doing that years ago. Doing a journal is wonderful, and you have the right mindset while you're doing the journal. But if you go home and you close the journal and you put it on the top shelf.
Yeah, I live with my journal. My journal is right there, yeah.
There you go, and you're taking your motivation and you're putting it on the top shelf. You're not...
Well, that's why, it all falls back to fundamental basics, like setting goals are useless if you set them January 1st and you don't look at them all year. How goals are achieved is you look at them every single day of your life. You sell yourself every single day, and that goes back to mindset, right? So it's like, to me, you can give someone, I always say it's probably too redundant, you give somebody a business on how to sell $20 bills for 10 bucks. And if they don't have the right mindset, they'll still screw it up. Right? If it doesn't work where I live, people think it's fake.
You lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Yeah.
And
when people just search for tactics, they're the people that every 2 years are on to the next thing. Oh, I'm going to make money in real estate. Oh, I'm going to make money in the knowledge. Oh, I'm going to make money on stocks. Because
cookie cutter.
right, but they're not anchoring in. They don't realize the piece they're missing is not the tactics. It's their resourcefulness. It's their mindset.
Mindset that I had growing up as a child, I couldn't do it. I can't do that. For certain people who have that low self-esteem and who's not sure of themselves and feel that they can't take that step because of fear itself.
Yeah, well, that's the whole process of changing that story, right? It's not, you can't change your past. All you have to do is change the story of the past, right? And instead of, I mean, it's why I'm writing my new book, Underdog Advantage. It's because what you thought was a disadvantage in your life, I was lucky enough to find it as an advantage. I struggled in school. I had dyslexia. I was in the little room with Miss Thompson. You know what I mean? Like, I struggled with all those same things, but there was some point that snapped in me where I said, screw all of you. I'm going to make it because of that disability, right? And I was just lucky enough to have people help me shift it. You weren't until a later age, right? So you're right. I mean, that's why, same thing. How many people do you think are going to watch this right now? Thousands and thousands of people will watch this, and there's somebody watching going, well, Dean, you're smarter.
If there was somebody like you, as me being a young child and an adolescent to a teenager to an adult, what an amazing thing. What an amazing thing. It would make somebody like myself feel like something, feel that feeling.
Yeah.
I can do anything.
Well, I have to tell you, the greatest
When you have those teachers in my day that
knock you down.
put you in a special room for special needs people.
I mean, you probably remember, I remember coming home and telling you crying because Miss Thompson called me dumb and sat in front of the entire room. And she'd say, you're dumb, just spell it out. Don't you see the way it sounds? And the way I looked at it, it sounded the way I said it. What do you mean sound it out? Yeah, exactly.
Mrs. Marnicello was mine.
But she was mean to me too because of you. She was mean to me day one. She's like, oh, you're Gloria Post's son. I said, yeah. She's like, she was mean to me all year. Thanks, appreciate that.
I came in after having the measles or the mumps, I don't remember. And I came back to school and she said, well, welcome. How was your vacation? Did you have fun?
Here's the cool part is because of new platforms, because of Instagram especially, we have every day hundreds of kids under 20 sending us comments like, oh my God, like we're giving them that hope. But every day, like we have, we get a story from 12-year-old to 19-year-old. I bet you we get 100 a day of kids like, I'm so glad I found you. I don't feel crazy anymore. And you're giving permission to people who feel like an underdog to realize that that could be their advantage. It's just switching perspective. Like, this isn't rocket science. If you feel you can't, you can't. If you feel that you can, you can. But it's giving somebody that confidence, and usually that takes exactly the debate we're talking about today. It's mindset. You didn't need as a kid, you didn't need the tactics to be more successful. You needed someone to help you shift your mindset. Then you would have found the tools to be successful on your own. It's as simple as that.